we are going to go through Genesis chapter 13 and 14 today. Genesis 13 starts off with Abram coming back from Egypt. He goes back to Negev. He goes back to the place where he had built an altar for the Lord, and this is where he would call upon the name of the Lord. Now, he is still with Lot at this point of the story. He's with the families. Lot has all of his people, all of his herdmen. And we know that Abram's very rich in livestock. He has a lot of livestock, a lot of silver, a lot of gold. But the land that they were in could not really contain all of them without arguments and strife breaking out. So Abram talks to Lot and says, look, I don't want strife between us. I want you to go ahead and look and pick a land where you want to go, and I'll go opposite. If you go right, I'll go left. If you go left, I'll go right. So it says here that Lot looked up. He looked around and he saw the Jordan Valley. He saw so much greenery. He saw water flowing through it. And with his eyes, he saw this just prosperous place. And he says, I want to settle there with my people. So he goes and he settles there. And Abram goes to the land of Canaan. And when he goes there, he hears the promise that God had given him in the previous chapter, in chapter 12, where he says, I will make your offspring as the dust of the earth. But the part that I want to talk to you about is the part where Lot decides to settle. It says that he moved his tent as far as Sodom. And in verse 13, it says, now the men of Sodom were wicked. They were great sinners against the Lord. Lot has been traveling with Abram. He knows the way that Abram would build an altar. He knows the way that Abram would call out to God. We don't hear about Lot seeking God for direction. We don't see that Lot even made or built an altar in this wicked place. All we know is that he decides to settle in an area where people believe opposite of what he believes. Actually, they're great sinners against the Lord that he serves. And this is where he decides to settle. We need to be careful as believers thinking that we can be in an atmosphere like that and not fall. We cannot trust our flesh. We cannot think that we are strong enough in our walk with God to intentionally put ourselves in wicked places and think that we will not fall. It reminds me of the story of Joseph when Potiphar's wife went to Joseph and tried to seduce him. Joseph ran. He took off. He didn't want to stick around to see what would happen. He knew what would happen. He didn't trust his flesh. As believers, we do not need to trust our flesh. We need to call upon the name of the Lord and see where he leads and guides and directs us, not intentionally put ourselves in places where they hate God. But I want to show you a beautiful picture of Christ. In chapter 14, it says that a war broke out, that these kings created these alliances and they began to take whatever they wanted. And they took people, they took possessions, and among the people, they took Lot. They took Lot and they took all of Lot's possessions. Man, sin, wickedness overtook him. And now he's a prisoner in this place that he thought was so beautiful where he would prosper. Now he's a prisoner. But I love this here at the end of this chapter. It says that Abram heard about what happened to his nephew. He gathered all the trained men and he went out and took Lot back. He went out and got all of his possessions and took it all back. That is a picture of Christ, that we may have fallen into sin. We may feel like we are too far gone, but not for God. He hears our cries. He hears us. And in 2 Chronicles chapter 30, verse 9, it says, for the Lord your God is gracious and compassionate. He will not turn his face from you if you return to him. You are not too far gone. It says that if we cry out to the Lord, if we seek his face, that he won't turn his face away from us. He longs to show his compassion. He longs to show his grace. It says Isaiah chapter 30, verse 18, yet the Lord longs to be gracious to you. Therefore, he will rise up to show you compassion. For the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are those who wait for him, those who return to him, those who cry out to him. And God is ready and willing to save you. I hope this chapter's blessed you. I'd love to hear what you got out of that.